Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Break Vape podcast, episode 52. I am your host, Tami Ernst. This episode is called You Are Not Alone, 7 Dynamics Around Worldwide Vaping. If you are curious about how to quit vaping for yourself or someone you know, you are in the right spot. And if you have been listening for a while, guess what? You have been in the right spot for nearly a year. Can you believe that, guys? That's right. Next week will be our 1-year podcast birthday. And in that time, we have grown to hundreds of thousands of listeners in over 40 countries. So today, especially if you haven't tuned in before, I just want those of you who are struggling to quit vaping to really sit with the fact for a minute that you are not alone. I have had the blessed opportunity to coach so many of you guys, and this show is a safe spot for you. I'm so honored to be your coach and to have you listening in from all over. It's been rewarding, challenging, although I do love a good challenge, and really fun to see the show grow and to give all of you in different countries a resource to listen to that we can all ditch our vapes together with. I know naturally a lot of us tend to focus on ourselves and our own lives, which is totally fine. But today I want to share with you just how fascinating it is to see vaping on a global scale. So I'm going to give you some facts in a bit to just recap vaping and how it has been showing up. You guys, it has become a notable global phenomenon over the past couple of decades with many aspects to consider, like trends, regulations, health perspectives, the market, etc. So let's dive in and touch on 7 of these global fact categories, and then I'll share which countries have been keeping up the most with this podcast in real time for nearly a year. So number 1 is emergence and growth. Vaping has been around a little over 20 years to date since it emerged in the early 2000s. The first e-cigarettes were developed in China, and the trend soon spread worldwide. Initially, as most of us know, it was marketed as a less harmful alternative to smoking traditional combustible cigarettes. But now the industry has grown significantly, attracting both former smokers and people who have never smoked before. Which leads me to number 2, global market dynamics. The global vaping industry has witnessed exponential growth, with the market being segmented into several things like e-cigarettes, vape pens, mods, pods, and even zero nicotine vapes, which are not safe. Another point on that is that North America and Europe have been major markets, but Asia-Pacific regions, particularly countries like China, Japan, and Malaysia, have also seen substantial market growth. So you guys, the market is growing worldwide. Which brings me to number 3, demographics and usage. Cigarette smokers have turned to vaping in efforts to quit smoking, and some have actually quit along the way. But commonly, traditional smokers have actually wound up just trading one vice for another and have given up cigarettes, but now they vape instead. And to make matters worse, vaping has been marketed to and thus has become much more popular with a younger demographic, and that includes our teens and our young adults. A lot of the time, they end up picking up the habit because it's perceived as fun or cool with an array of quote-unquote tasty flavors. But then these kiddos wind up with their developing brains being addicted. Which leads me into number 4, health perspectives. Vaping is bad for your health, guys. It can lead to popcorn lung, EVALI, which stands for e-cigarette vaping associated lung illness, and also an array of other health problems that you might not even think about, like tooth decay, GI issues, poor circulation, breathing problems, and depression, just to name a few. And here's the scary part, guys. We used to think of vaping as just water vapor, but now we know better. But how much better? I think that time will tell, and that shocking statistics are going to roll out worldwide over the next decade that show how dangerous and misunderstood the long-term effects of vaping really are. But until then, it's important to quit right now or to never start. Okay, number 5, regulations and policies. Global regulation of vaping does not exist because individual countries manage it differently. So for instance, some nations have embraced it as a less harmful alternative to smoking, which you might see in the US and other countries, while other countries have imposed strict regulations or outright bans, and other countries simply do not have access to getting vapes in the first place. Issues like advertising restrictions, age verification, flavor bans, and taxation policies have been at the forefront of regulatory discussions. And on to number 6, controversies and challenges. The vaping industry, it has actually faced challenges, including concerns about the youth uptake of vaping, the rise of counterfeit and unregulated products, and the health crises like popcorn lung and EVALI. There was an EVALI outbreak that made headlines for killing close to 70 people in the US in 2019, shortly before COVID hit. And thankfully, some marketing strategies, especially those targeting the younger audiences, are starting to come under scrutiny in many countries. On to number 7, future outlook. Unfortunately, the vaping industry is growing, but it will be shaped by further research into its health effects, regulatory decisions, and public perception. And I think that this man-made epidemic is going to rely on a man-made solution. So now that we have some quick facts on vaping, let's take a look at the podcast analytics. This podcast has the most listeners coming in, you guys, in order from the following countries: the United States, the UK, Australia, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Ireland, Costa Rica, Belgium, Denmark, Kenya, Isle of Man, Russia, Spain, Mexico, Germany, Brazil, Malaysia, Sweden, India, China, Italy, Belize, Trinidad and Tobago, Bahrain, Philippines, Thailand, Poland, Colombia, Indonesia, France, Switzerland, Taiwan, Romania, Finland, and Pakistan. Wow, you guys, we are all different and have unique lives, but I am blown away every time I look at this growing list of countries that have listeners like you who are looking for a way to quit vaping that actually works. Thank you guys for the past year, for all of your emails, all of your support, for your comments, shares, ratings, and reviews. It has been an incredible year of service. And I want you guys to get excited because we are just getting started and I have so much amazing value planned to give out to you guys in the next year going forward. I've coached in my own city and across multiple time zones on the other side of the world, and the life-changing results that I've seen are just phenomenal. I want these results. I want these vape-free lives. I want these vape-free futures for all of you. You have so much potential inside of you, and I can't wait to see it. If this show has helped you at all in the past year, I would absolutely love it if you would send me an email and let me know. Your stories light me up, and I tend to overshare quite a bit of strategic advice when we get to talking. I'm going to repeat that and kind of wink at you a little bit. Your stories light me up, and I tend to overshare quite a bit of strategic advice when we get to talking. So if you get on a call with me, I kind of like to go into some really unique ways that you can start vaping today in your own unique life. And it's always strategy-based and it's a lot of fun. So head over to the Break Vape website at www.breakvapes.com and click on the Contact Us button to send an email. Or if you want to have a really helpful conversation like I was just mentioning, go to the Enroll tab and schedule your very own free strategy session. And I'll drop those links in the show notes. Thank you all again for a year of growth and positive change. Let's keep fighting to be vape free without white knuckling it. And I will see you next week. Bye for now.